All right, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's Mac.
And Blair.
And listen, we put up a community post a couple of days ago, and we want to talk to you a little bit about what it's been like for Blair to get to the pregnancy up to this point, 36 weeks. And I'm going to let her do a lot of talking. I'm just going to ask the questions and answer a lot of questions that you left us on the post. For those of you who left answers on those posts, thank you very much. And always, if you want to communicate with us, just drop a comment and we'll try to reply. But let's just go ahead and get started with this. We're at the end of this pregnancy right now, 36 weeks. Blair, how are you feeling?
Tired, very tired. There's been a lot of sleeping going on lately. The time of day that I sleep is all over the place. Sometimes, it'll happen mid-conversation. I'm sitting there talking to Mac and I fall asleep. Or we're watching a movie, I fall asleep. Doesn't really matter the time of day.
Yeah, so for me, this is the 5th pregnancy and I've been watching Blair go through this. And the biggest change that I've seen between this pregnancy and others is the swelling that has happened towards the end of this pregnancy.
Yeah, so I've never swollen, or I've swollen like lightly or because we were traveling or something in a car for a while before my previous pregnancies. And this pregnancy, I feel like I look like a whole nother person from the waist down because the swelling is, in my opinion, huge. So that's been really different. And then of course, along with that swelling came like tenderness. So it hurt to move my legs to go with that. So I'm just trying to be a trooper and just keep going.
So with that in mind also, there's been times after you've given birth in other pregnancies, so like the second or the third with Braden or Matthew, afterwards your movement was limited, you walked really slow, and it's been really not in a good way, but I've seen you transform and your movements are slow. Like it's painful if we touch your legs because of the swelling, painful if people touch your feet. Like you don't want any feet rubs, nothing like that. That's all painful. And so we just kind of watch those things as it go through. What other physical effects have you noted getting to this point? Besides just overall, the babies are at this stage, 36 weeks, they're pretty big, right?
Yeah, they're pretty big. Rolling over is like not a thing. It's whatever position I'm in, that's where I'm going to sleep. So if that's straight up, I'm sleeping straight up. And then I just don't roll over very much. It's whatever position I fall asleep in.
Yeah. So I've been noting that, and we've been here supporting your mother's here now. I flew back to the States to pick her up, and she flew back with me, and then so now she's here.
I know we're doing questions right now, but I wanted to take a moment to introduce my mom.
Yes. Hi, my name is Percille, and I came over from the States to help Blair with the babies. I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to enjoying my other 4 grands and also just enjoying Europe. Yes.
So expect to see her in a ton more videos, and welcome to Europe.
Thank you.
She's here, and we've gotten the house as prepared. Do you feel prepared as far as the home and how we have things set up here?
I do. I'm not really big on the whole like get a nursery ready and all that kind of stuff. I just like knowing my baby has somewhere to sleep and we have diapers, a sufficient amount that I don't have to send him out to go look at some crazy time of night like, hey, we need diapers, I need you to get diapers now. So we have a sufficient amount that I'm happy with. We have clothes, we have all the first things that you'll need. In addition to that, the rest of the household has the things that they need as well, like detergent and stuff to wash the dishes with, and I don't have to like think too hard about that kind of stuff being here. So those are my main concerns when I first have a new baby. It's just making sure the house is somewhat squared away so that like anybody that has to step in can see that there's stuff here that is okay. We might not have food, but we can go and get food, or we can go and get the produce and everything else. So that I'm good with that.
Yeah. So another thing that you mentioned that you wanted to do that we have never completely done this time is, so Blair's mom is here. She's kind of in the bubble. You guys heard me talk about the bubble before a lot. So she's in the bubble. But you mentioned 30 days, no visitors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like no one's coming to the home. No one's gonna see these.
Yeah, for a while.
No one's gonna see these little guys. They're gonna be
in a bubble.
Deep in the bubble.
Yeah.
The family bubble.
Yeah.
30 days, no visitors. They're not moving. They're not going anywhere. Of course, we wouldn't want to do that.
No.
We're not going to take them out. It'll be later before anyone sees them, before we get them moving. Now, because we do a lot of travel and international travel, I mean, at some point we will want to start traveling with them so that when they'll get used to the feeling of movement, cars, and things of that sort. But at first, we're locking it down.
Yeah, so at first it's going to be a lockdown of sorts. We're going to see about doing like a couple of things that we have to do. But other than that, they're just going to be here in the bubble. And I'm fine with that.
So we put in all our paperwork for work. So we both have extended periods that we're going to be home off work to care for the little ones. Of course, the big four is still doing their thing. So my schedule, I anticipate I'm going to be running the big four to school, picking them up, and taking them to swim and all these other activities. So I'm going to continue to have to be active in that area. And then Blair's going to focus a bit more, and your mom's going to focus a bit more attention on making sure that the little ones are stable and secure. So we're definitely setting up for a whole new rhythm in our home.
Yeah.
We've had babies before.
That'll be different.
But never two at the same time.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. The only thing closer to that we've had is when we had Blakely and Trey. Like that was the closest babyhood. But this is going to be a whole new world with both being babies.
Yeah, so I had a new realization. So I put the car seats in the vehicle, and there's one on either side because it's where the latches are, but they're big, and so I had to move the driver's seat forward. I had to move the passenger seat forward, and I was like, wow, I haven't had this to drive in a more upright like this in a while. It's just going to be all these little adjustments that we have to make. We'll work it out. But hey, let's jump into some of the questions from the community post. Unless there's something else that you'd like to share about your experience so far. How about this? Before we get into that, well, you know what? I think we'll cover it here. I don't want to go.
Okay.
Let's cover it here. So don't worry about the pause. Okay, so here's the first question from Beth. And Beth says, has being pregnant with twins felt very different? Do they move more or less because there's less room? And do you have any names yet? So we'll take those in turn.
Okay, so being pregnant with twins felt, in my opinion, it felt very, very different in that movement started, I won't say early, but when there was movement or when I was feeling movement, it was a lot. It was like a lot going on. And so I had to get used to that. As of right now, movement is more, it's different. It's different. Like you kind of, in my opinion, I always know where one of the twins, where they're sitting, I can always tell you. And the other one, I'm like, I don't know. And that's his job to tell me because he can feel the other one. So it's different.
Yeah, if you kind of tap on them a little bit, they'll get to moving. And the one to move, and you tap in a different place, and then the other one will move. So they're both in there, but maybe not as much space as they had before because we did was it ultrasound?
Yeah.
So we did an ultrasound recently, and it was just it was a mess. It was hard to tell because everything is pressed in.
Yeah.
The babies are big now, and they're pressing up against everything. So before we could see beautiful pictures of faces, and the little
finally
hands,
got to those pictures,
all free and everything. But no, not now. Now they're all kind of pressed in there. So.
And just so you know, this happens, I feel like every time we have a girl, is that this one figures out how to bond with her immediately, and he could talk to the baby, and the little girl starts moving, doing all this action, and I'm like, how in the world? It was the same thing with Blakely when she was in the womb. He could talk to her, and I'm like, I need you to talk to your baby because she's moving too much, driving me crazy right now, and she would actually stop, and I was just like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Girl dad.
Girl dad.
So the next question is, have any names in mind? And I'll take this one. We do have names. We're not ready to share that yet because, of course, that would have to go to the family first. But we have been working on names because we have a naming convention, and that limits us. But I think we tentatively have some names prepared. Of course, we'll have to wait till we have babies in hand, and then you speak the name, and you get a feel if it resonates. And so we'll wait and see what resonates with us and the babies as well. Okay, so the next question is from Doreen. It says, I've heard it can cost up to $100,000 to have babies in the U.S. What exactly are you paying for, basically, that costs that much in comparison to the NHS?
So our births, our births previously were paid via private insurance, and so we had a very small amount that we had to pay like out of pocket. That being said, when I did request the records for like an itemized receipt, it wasn't more than like, I want to say like $25,000.
Just to be clear, if a woman is pregnant, there are free clinic services for pregnant mothers in the U.S. So if a mother is pregnant, there is a place where she can go in the U.S. inside of a medical system and get care if she doesn't have any form of insurance. There's still care available. There are actually free clinics in the U.S. For anyone who does not have any form of insurance. You can go and get care. I know people don't talk about that much, but it does exist in the U.S. At the same time, let's say you haven't been in the free clinics, none of those things. If you show up at a U.S. hospital and you're in critical need of care, you will receive care. And I don't even think you have to be in critical need of care. Eventually, you send the ER that you will be
triage.
Yeah, they will triage you. You may not be first in line, but you will be seen.
Right.
But if a woman shows up and she's going into labor, it doesn't matter where you show up in the hospital. If they have a maternity ward, if not, they're going to take care of you. So.
Right.
There is care, and you will receive care. The big difference is, I think in the U.S., afterwards, there will be a bill, but you will receive care.
Right.
So I think in some cases there will be a bill, in some cases not. I don't know. Everything is different. It's all different by state, by location, by city.
Yeah.
So it's not standardized, but what is standardized is that you will receive care.
Doreen also asked a question about whether or not we're going to be doing a natural birth or a cesarean birth. At this point, it's all about how everything is flowing, how everything is going, and is it necessary to do a cesarean. Previously, I've always had vaginal birth, so we'll see how this one goes.
Okay, so the next question, I can't pronounce his name, so I'm going to put it up on the screen. But basically, they're saying, I presume you guys had good insurance stateside, but were there any additional costs that weren't covered back there?
Right, so for our insurance out of pocket, we had to pay about $250 for all the births. And then the additional fee we paid for the boys for their circumcisions was like another $150. So...
yeah, so extra $150 for the boys. Oh, and that is standard care across the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering how you both feel about the twins inevitably growing up with British accents, or any of the other kids picking up accents. Yeah, if the twins come out with British accents, that's no problem. That's fine. Matthew has a bit of an English twang is what I would call it. He sounds a little English here and there. It comes out on different words.
Yes.
He stretches them out. You could hear, okay, he definitely learned that word over here. So yes, he's the main one. The other children, not so much, but yes, definitely Matthew. Okay, so the next question here is from Penny, and it says, do they use birth plans as the U.S. does?
So the UK does use birth plans. They're actually very similar. The only options that are kind of different from what I've been reading is like, how do you, there's a couple of additions, like, do you want to do a water birth? What do you want for your pain medicine? Like, they offer nitrous oxide and something called a TENS machine. I didn't look into it because that sounded like really different to me without knowing too much about it.
The next question, also from Penny. Do you have any sense of how quickly they may jump to doing a C-section? How conservative or protective do you think they'll be? And I think that's in relation to C-sections.
Right. I don't get that they'll jump to a C-section right away. I feel as though from everything that I've heard from other women that have given birth here, other Americans that have given birth here, that they will let you labor a little bit longer than what the U.S. does. Typically in the U.S., you have about 24 hours from the time your water breaks to giving birth. Here, I've heard a little bit longer than that. So I don't think it's necessarily a push to C-section.
Okay, so the next question is from Miss Yuri Love. What are the highlights of having a pregnancy in the UK?
So food options, of course. Yeah, it's been great. I've been really craving some bubble tea lately. There was this one shop I wanted to try in Birmingham, but I didn't get to. We haven't been there in a while, so I didn't get to go back. Maybe I can still talk him into a little something this afternoon.
Bubble tea after birth. After the babies, we'll put your stroller down to the bubble tea shop.
Yeah. So that's been my biggest thing being here.
Miss Yuri Love has another question. Have the amount of midwife appointments been the same as what you would have in the U.S.? You would have definitely had more doctor appointments in the U.S. with every pregnancy up until this one. By the time you're getting, and I don't want to get the weeks right, I may get it wrong, but let's say 28 weeks. But by the time you get to 28 weeks, definitely with twins, you would be going weekly. By the time you get to the very end of the pregnancy, you would probably be going twice a week, because that's been pretty consistent across all the previous pregnancies. You were basically constantly you're almost living at the hospital at that point. You're very familiar with the hospital, parking and everything. So as we get closer, we would definitely have had more appointments than you've had here. Okay, so the next question is from Persephone. Did you have to pay medical bills in the U.S. for any of your other children? Did you know how much approximately the charges would be in the U.S.? I think we already covered that, but just to restate it, you said it was about $25 out of pocket because we have insurance, about $250 out of pocket, an extra $150 for the boys for the C-sections, and that would be the approximate charge. I think we talked about this before. They calculated that for each birth was roughly about 20 total itemized charges, was about 20,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly 20,000.
And that's also because we have vaginal births, so it's a little bit more if you have C-sections.
Next question is from George. He asks, was there 24/7 someone you could contact if you were worried about anything under the UK care? So when you had concerns in this pregnancy, did you have someone you could call?
Yes. So I always started with my midwife, and then I could go. She usually directed me to the hospital, so then I could call the hospital and I think it was their L&D department, to talk to them about whatever my concerns were. Yeah,
so that one day, and we did a video on this where you weren't feeling well, and you called the midwife, and we were referred to the maternity ward, labor and delivery, and we went to the hospital, and they took care of you, spent a day there. So yes, there's been someone you could call. Next question is from CBJ Colorblind Jim. He asked, did we save having a baby in the UK? And I didn't understand the question. I asked Jim to expound on that, and I think kind of worked out. He's asking, did we save in reference to medical bills and cost? Here's the thing, for us specifically, just me and Blair, because of the insurance that we have, the babies only cost us about $250 per birth out of our pocket directly. So yes, we save, but the amount is nominal. If we were giving birth to the twins back in the U.S., the cost for us out of pocket may be a little bit higher, but not significant. Like we would not be paying tens of thousands of dollars because we have insurance. That would not be the case for us in the U.S. So the cost savings is there, but for us it is nominal. You okay with that answer? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, so that's all the questions. Again, thank you for dropping those. We appreciate it. Right now we're pretty tired. Blair's tired. We're at the last stages of this pregnancy. The twins are inbound. We're trying to get everything ready to go. I think we have everything as prepared as we possibly can. You will probably be hearing from us again in relation to the pregnancy. On the backside of everything, I doubt we'll do another sit down before the babies are born. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for the care. We've appreciated all the comments, the emails that I received directly. That has been greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you so much again for all the emails, all the comments. We really do appreciate them. And look for us.
Yeah, in the future, guys, we'll see you on the other side, hopefully with, prayerfully, with 2 more people here with us.
Yes.
All right, until next time, take care.
Take care.